guys, and welcome to episode 13 of Saving Schalke. So in this episode we're going to do the end of season review and the transfers for the upcoming season. Next season we will be playing in the Champions League, so we need to get a good few signings in for next season. But if you do enjoy this sort of content, make sure you like and subscribe, and check out our Instagram below to keep up to date with everything that's going on the channel. But let's just dive straight into the season review. So from the new arrivals, our signing of this season was Kevin. Fantastic signing for 5 million, bought in from Dynamo Dresden. Played 34 games this season, averages 7.52, so fantastic. He was a B- rating. Regari was an A+ rating, bought in on a free transfer. 14 assists, 7.55 rating from 32 games. Fantastic signing again. Joshua Wagnerman, C rating, 7.19, brought in January transfer window for 6.5 million. As you can see, played 16 games but no goals, no assists, so that's slightly disappointing. Georgie, our goalkeeper, A rating, 2.8 million from Dynamo 2, 36 game played with a 7.16 rating. Adiemi, 17.5 million signed him for. Overall played 38 games, that would be 21 goals, 6 assists, 7.08 with a B rating. Mariba came in on loan from Leipzig, will be signing him permanently hopefully. C+, 12 appearances, 1 assist, 7.08. Then you've got Yusuf Demir, brought in from Rapid Vienna, 11.75 million, 34 games played, 8 goals, 4 assists, 7.07. Was at Barcelona before coming towards us. Then you've got Ransford Jaboa, a D rating, and we will be signing him. Played 26 games, that is, 11 goals, 0 assists on a 6.98 rating. Then moving down the list, you've got Blanco, B rating, 6.97 overall. Sam McCallum, B+ rating, came in on loan, 6.88. Robert Wagner signed on a cheap deal from Freiburg, B rating and a 6.82. He is someone that will be looked to improve on, but unfortunately our worst signing by average rating was Mark Noble on a C+. Only played 11 games this season, no goals, no assists, and a 6.77. But overall, really happy with the signings that we made this season. And to follow on that, fantastic. The board is over the moon with an A+ for qualifying for the Europa Champion Cup. They were expecting us to avoid relegation, and we finished 4th in the league. Adiemi on top form, and on the Pokal C+. They wanted us to reach the 3rd round, and we reached quarter final. Once again, over the moon with both of those performances in both the league and the cup. So our biggest win was a 5-1 victory against Bayer Leverkusen. They also beat us 5-1 in the reverse fixture in last episode. Match to remember was a 4-1 victory against Cologne away from home, and goal of the season went to Adiemi from a 23-metre shot outside the area. And yeah, so very good results there. As you can see, we are still a continental reputation. The sponsorship has gone down from last season, but hopefully it will go back up. Broadcast revenue up, corporate and hospitality up, prize money up significantly. That's up about 60 million, that is, so that's very good. And matchday commercial has gone up by 500,000 as well. Most shirts sold was Adiemi, followed by Demir, Kevin, Scott, and then Mark Noble. This is what they're saying our strongest 11 this season was, with Georgie in goal, Regari at left back, Malik, Kevin, Joshua Wagnerman, Blanco, Christopher Scott, Sane, Robert Wagner, Yusuf Demir, Adiemi. So the only one change that I might make would be Mariba. into this position instead of Blanco, and obviously, as you can see, this was our weak spot the whole season with a 6.82 from Robert Wagner, so we'll be looking to get a better player in that position for next year. Fans player of the season was Kevin. Young player of the season, Kevin. Sign of the season, Kevin. Top goal scorer was Karim Adeyemi with the goal of the season as well. Most assists, Regari. Most player of the match awards was also Regari with the highest average rating. And then most completed passes per 90 minutes was Mariba. Most goals by a player in a match was Kevin with Adeyemi, with 3. Most player of the matches award in a season was Regari. Worst discipline was Kevin. So despite him getting fans player of the season, young player and signing of the season, he was the worst disciplined player on the pitch. So that is everything. So we've got this 25 million that we've got to spend for this season. So let's see what sort of players we can bring in for next season. So the board have actually given us their expectations for this upcoming season. So they want us to play defensively solid football, also playing counter-attacking football. They want us to make the most of set pieces, which is something that we'll be looking to do, especially from the corners, using Regari constantly and going on to the head of Kevin. They want us to play entertaining football, work within the wage budget, spend the original transfer budget, which we'll 100% do this season. And it's quite interesting that they've decided that they only want us to avoid a relegation battle for next season. So after the highs of this year, they're only wanting us to avoid that relegation battle and just reach the group stages of the Champions League, which we've already done by qualifying by finishing 4th in the league. The next few seasons, all they want us to do at the moment is qualify for the Euro Cup. So they've got some ambition in the club by wanting to avoid a relegation battle to then go into Euro Cup 2. So let's just see what the future holds in upcoming transfer window. So the season has finally finished with the playoff being played, and I believe that Arminia Bielefeld won on penalties. However, you look at the German Players Player of the Year, Erling Haaland won that with our player Kevin coming in second, with Joshua Kimmich coming in third. Erling Haaland won top goal scorer of the year was Marcus Thuram and then Lucas Alario in runners-up positions. However, rookie of the season went to Kevin, with followed up in second by Regari, and in third place you had Georgie. So a clean sweep of Schalke players in the rookie 11. Moving on to manager of the year, and the Dortmund manager who ultimately won the title has become manager of the year, followed by us in second place. From 34 matches, our win percentage was 58%, and then ultimately followed by the Bayer Leverkusen manager in third position. We move on to Schalke have had a player named in the team of the year. That is Georgie, our goalkeeper, filled with the rest of Dortmund and Munich players in the other 11. So it looks very good on us to be able to win some awards, to be up there with some awards, and ultimately challenging for Manager of the Year as well. So guys, we've made it through to transfer deadline day now. We've had a relatively strong start to the season at the moment. So we've played 3 games, one being in the first round of the Pokal, won 1-0. Second game was in the Bundesliga against Hertha Berlin, where Adeyemi scored a hat-trick and Yusuf Demir scored a wonderful free kick. And then the final game was against Borussia Dortmund away from home, where Sesko, one of our new signings, which you'll meet in just 1 second, scored on his debut, with Alexander Isak pulling one back for the hosts. So if we go to the transfers, we've had a relatively quiet transfer window at the moment. So we've brought in Mariba for the 15 million that I wanted to bring him in for. Just looks like a great player. Playing great for us as well. Strongest midfielder we've got in the club now. Then we move on to Ransford Yeboah. He's going to be our backup striker, playing as an advanced forward behind Sesko, as I mentioned earlier. But yeah, a solid backup in my opinion. Moving on, we've brought in Bogus. He's come in on a free transfer from Leeds United. I can't see him playing much football this year, but as a free transfer, you might as well bring him in. Then Mosquera, I signed him on a free transfer from Valencia. He doesn't look amazing, but he's got some potential in him. Yeah, I can see him playing in a few matches. He primarily will be playing as a centre-back. He's our sixth choice at centre-back. I can see him playing in like cup games and stuff along those lines. But apart from that, just a squad player realistically. Then I bought in Matheus Cunha. He has had previous experience in the Bundesliga where he has played for Hertha Berlin. Now, he signed for Atletico Madrid. First season, he got about half of the games. Then last year, he only played 3 games. He wanted to leave the club. I just thought I might as well bring him in on loan. He's better than what we had in that position. As you can see here, he was better than Wagner that we were playing there last year. So I just thought it was a no-brainer. Obviously, well-rounded stats. Cracking first touch, finishing, great long shots, flair, aggression, dribbling, technique. So you can't go wrong with a signing like that. Moving on, we've bought in a regen called Michael Müller. He is coming in on loan from Mönchengladbach primarily, but then I've got a future fee of 18.5 million, or just shy of 18.5 million. But he genuinely looks like an incredible centre attacking mid. So he would be one that I'd be looking to sign in at the beginning of next season. He's got amazing potential, 5-star. So German, like I want to build a German side, so can't go wrong with that. Then moving on, I needed depth in centre-back position, and that is because one of our sales that we've made. So I brought in William Saliba from Arsenal, 3-star ability, overall just a great centre-back, cracking pace, jumping reach is decent, heading, marking, tackling all decent, positioning, work rate all decent, all around the 14-13 mark, so can't go wrong with that. But yeah, like I said, brought him in on loan from Arsenal. Didn't really play much last season for the club, but come in and played 2 games for us already this season. And finally, Sesko we have brought in. So we've brought him in from RB Salzburg for 20 million. Played 1 game, scored 1 goal. This is because we have lost one of our players. His value has shot up. Overall 6'4", you can't go wrong. Quite pacey striker, finishing, dribbling, first touch, passing, technique. You look at all of the key stats for a striker, and he's in a very good position to be a top quality striker. But the reason why we had to bring in him was because Karim Adeyemi has left us to go to Bayer Leverkusen. Adeyemi, he had a £30 million release clause that I completely forgot in his contract. So we signed him for 15, and in just over a season we doubled our money. However, I wanted to keep hold of him. He scored a hat-trick on the first day of the season, but has now moved to Bayer Leverkusen, who was up there with us last year. But as you can see, we lost a few players. Butler went out for just shy of 1 million. Evan went for 1 million. And then we sold Kabak. Wasn't going to use him much. Wasn't a fan of him. Sold him for 4 million. We only played him in 4 games last season. He's gone to Leganes and playing in the first league of Spain. So apart from that, that's all our transfer windows. Once again, we did lose Yusuf, who is gone into Borussia Mönchengladbach too. I'm not that fussed about it at the end of the day. We're here on transfer deadline day, so a lot of dealings could go on. If you look at the finances, we've still got 8 million left in the bank, with quite a hefty wage budget as well. But one reason why I've come back for this is because today is also the day of the Champions League draw. So let's see who we get and see if there's any dealings that go on. But one crazy deal that has happened so far is that Borussia Dortmund has sold Erling Haaland to PSG for 122 million, and that is their reason of bringing in Alexander Isak, is because he's left the club. And you can see down here behind my head, so you can't really see it, sorry, that PSG, he's played 3 games and got 0 goals. So at the end of the day, he should come into firing form. But if we just look at the PSG side quickly, let's go to their tactics. Their front 3 now. Oh my gosh, what a front 3 that is. They're going to be fighting us this year. Let's hope we don't get them in the Champions League, because they've also got Benzema on the bench, another fantastic striker, Lewandowski on the bench as well. So the 2 best strikers in Bundesliga has gone over to Ligue 1 and playing for PSG. But if we just quickly look at the Bundesliga, after finishing 4th last year, we're predicted 8th in the league, but our players are up there. You've got Kevin, who is in the Dream 11, so that just shows how good of a signing he was. So it's Bayern Munich to Dortmund to Hertha Berlin, who we beat 4-0, remember that, to Leipzig, to Leverkusen, Wolfsburg, Mönchengladbach, and then us, Schalke, predicting the 8th position. So let's just head straight into the transfer deadline day now and see if we can pick any good players up. So we have made a loan move for Brandon Williams. We need cover in the both right back and left back position. Just thought he would cover both of them if we needed it to. We've also made an offer for Dominic Sobolski. Don't count me on my pronunciation, but we're looking to bring him in on loan. Fantastic. And he would be playing as an inverted winger on the left-hand side. So fingers crossed we can get him. 8 hours to go here. We've got a lot in our inbox. Got a lot of wonder kids on our shortlist, but unfortunately Wolves and Eintracht Frankfurt have put a bid in for Brandon Williams, so it could be that we can't get him this year. Looking to loan Mosquera out. I'll accept this one for the side in Bundesliga 2, but reject the other 2 because I want him to be able to play first team football to grow somewhat. But we're just waiting to hear back from RB Leipzig to whether we've got, and unfortunately Man United wanted to negotiate, and realistically I don't fancy renegotiating with him. So let's see what other fullbacks that we could potentially go in for. So I've just gone in for a loan offer for Kalulu. He's currently at AC Milan. He's currently a right back, but he can also play at left back, so it gives us that cover. Overall looks like a decent fullback, so let's hope I can bring him in. So with 6 hours to go, Christian is going to head out on loan, and I'll look to get his scout reports in because I think it would be nice to see how he's developing. We'll also bring in Kalulu here. Obviously, still waiting on Dominic's acceptance of the offer. So fingers crossed we can get that done in the near future. So unfortunately, Dominic has rejected our loan offer to come to us, but I will try and move in for a permanent deal for him. Obviously, we don't have much in the bank left, but if I go in for a installments one, which doesn't help our finances, especially the way that we've got them at the moment, but if we can sign someone like him, it would be fantastic. So looking for a £45 million offer, and they've actually negotiated, so I'll knock it down to 7.5 here, and if I go for a £50 million offer, they've negotiated it once again, so let's just knock it down. Let's hope they don't seem to be budging from this, which is frustrating. Let's offer them 55. It's not a great response. Let's up that to 50 and hope that they accept 57 million. So they've once again negotiated the price for him. Is there much wiggle room in the budget? If I offer them 8.5 and then that, they're really not budging from this. If I add, if we win the Pokal, let's say we'll give them extra 2.5 million and see what they say to that. They want a fixed fee of 11.75. If I can get it down to 10 and remove that, I'll make it non-negotiable, but up that to 50 million. They can have a sell-on fee. We've gone in for another offer. Milan have also gone in for an offer for him. So I'm going to need to start looking at some backups to play on that left-hand side for this season. So with 4 hours to go, RB Leipzig have actually rejected AC Milan's offer. They haven't yet rejected ours. So, they have now. So let's try again one more time. Let's up this to 11 and see if there's any budging them at all. But it's frustrating because I'm trying to give them exactly what they want, but in a weird way, and it's just not working. Let's knock that down to 30 million, and they've locked it in. So let's try with this. Obviously, don't know how far we'll actually get with this offer, but I would love to bring him in. I think it would be a fantastic sign for us for this year. So they've actually rejected it, but now they've accepted it. So I don't quite know what's going on. Here we are. We're at the contract talks with him. Start negotiations. And so Dominic has actually rejected our offer for a contract. So with 3 hours to go, I need to start hunting to see what player that I can bring in at such short notice that would be good enough to fit into my first team straight away, but also look for the future as well. So you're just looking here, if I go on to left and right wingers, could bring in Thomas Lemar. That could be a potential on loan. Anthony, he's a very good player, but in my opinion, far too much for what he would be. Could weaken a rival by bringing in Jeremy Boga. That's an option. Or you bring in someone like Lee here, who is a left-footed winger, so he would play wing on the left-hand side for us. He's unhappy at Mallorca currently, who are in the second division in Spain. 22 years old. Do I go for him? Think it could be a potential, so let's go in for... Would they allow us to take him in on loan? Let's make that first move here. Optional future fee. And he would be a regular starter, so they've actually rejected it. So let's try for a transfer offer here. Starting off with 5 million and instalments of 15, and in the hope that they accept this offer. So that offer's actually been rejected. So disappointing there. RB Leipzig are now going in for him, so a player that I've tried to steal from them, they've now gone in for a player that I've tried to get as well. So who else can I look at? I just keep on going back to Dominic, and I would love to bring him in. Obviously, he doesn't want to join me on loan, and that's half the issue. And I don't have enough money to bring him in permanently. So 2 hours to go. I've just made an offer for Jeremy Pino. I did try a transfer offer, but they wanted 76 million, I think it was. So that was a swift rejection. And unfortunately, Lee has just transferred over to RB Leipzig. So I won't be getting him. And Villarreal have just rejected my offer for Pino. Let's try and up this. And no, they're not budging on that. So let's have another look and see if there's anyone that I could bring in at short notice. Whether I try someone like Callum Hudson-Odoi, or just looking through the list here, and let's filter it to wingers. I'm also looking at their current ability to see how good they are at the moment. Unless I try to bring in this guy here. Somewhere between 24 and 37 million. He's a left footer, so he would play left wing for us. Looks decent, to be fair. I know I've not scouted him too much, but so let's try 7.5 million instalments, because we desperately need this winger in. Let's try 20 million. And they've gone up quite considerably, which is frustrating. But let's hope we can negotiate this down to 40 million. So we've got that offer accepted for him. Do I also look to bring someone in? Do I look to bring him in on loan just to make sure that we actually get him in? Could be an option. Let's put him as impact sub. Let's see who else we can get in on loan. Unless we... how long is Palestri out for? He's a right winger. Could we train him? He's a right-footed right winger. Can't really bring him in because we've got an inverted forward on that side. Harvey Elliott's another shout. He's a left-footed player. See if we can bring Harvey Elliott in on loan. This could be a good option, bringing in Harvey Elliott, just paying his wages. Obviously, hopefully we can bring in Francisco. That's our primary target. But it could be touch and go right until the end of the window here. So we've got a contract offer here for him. So we've got that offer in there for him. Both of the two other loans have been accepted. So that deal has fallen through. And they're reluctant to let him leave on loan. Let's try it. I think it would be better on bringing Harvey Elliott in than Durrami here. Just due to the fact he would be a right-footed left winger, whereas Harvey Elliott is a left-footed left winger. So obviously he's not as fast as some others, but so we've loaned in Harvey Elliott on the left-hand side here, and now we've got the Champions League group stage draw. So we are in seed 4. So let's go through all of the other seeds first. Looking at all of the groups, Group A would be a group of death. B wouldn't want to go into. C potentially with RB Salzburg in there. Chelsea's a tough side, and obviously you saw how we got on against Leverkusen towards the end of last season. So we can't even go into that group, can we? Because Leverkusen are in there. Don't want to go into Group D. That would be ultra tough. Can't go into Group E. Group F. We could get knocked into the Europa League because obviously PSG, Man City, and then Dynamo. We can potentially beat Dynamo. Group G is the group that I realistically want. We could be battling for top spot in that group. So let's just go through all of them here. So Spartak Moscow in Group A, Rangers in Group B, Monaco in Group C, Astana in Group D, Zenit in Group E, Club Brugge in Group F. Is this going to be our lucky draw? Yes, it is. So we are in Group G with Ajax, Sevilla and Benfica. Realistically, we are the worst side in there, but the way that we're playing at the moment, I can see us pushing the top spot. It's going to be a very even draw, realistically, who's going to come out of that. But let's head back to the transfer deadline day. We've brought in Harvey Elliott on loan now. Are we going to be able to get anyone else in? 45 minutes left. As you can see further up, that Atletico Madrid have made an offer for Kevin. We'll reject that. And unfortunately, the offer for Francisco has been rejected. So looks like that's the only business we're going to be finishing off with today. Leaves us with a lot left in the wage budget if we were to transfer it all in there. So potentially we can pick up some free transfers for next year. So that has concluded the transfer deadline day here. We made a few signings in bringing in these two players, Harvey Elliott and Pierre Kalulu. We'll get them registered. Let's see how we're predicted to finish in the league now. Does that affect it? We're actually bumped all the way up to 5th in the league, so it just shows that a few signings has made a whole difference for our side this season. Ultimately, I would prefer to play Wagnerman at right back than Kalulu, and obviously Harvey Elliott out on that left winger role. But yeah, it looks very strong from us to start the season. We will be a force to be reckoned with, I reckon. Strong players throughout the side, especially if we were to put Kevin back in and move Saliba to the left hand side, because I'd prefer Kevin to play on the right. You can just see we've got a strong side throughout now. The core of our players are extremely strong. So let's hope that this season we can be pushing towards top of the league, maybe even fighting for the title. Realistically, I wouldn't say that's too far out of our reach. You saw us last year and we've made cracking signings this year, so fingers crossed we can push forward. But that is everything for today, guys. If you have enjoyed, make sure you like and subscribe. I will come back for our first game against Benfica in the Champions League, and then I'll come back against St. Pauli as well. But yeah, if you have enjoyed, make sure you like and subscribe. Check our Instagram down in the description below, and I'll see you soon.